Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Set a Larger View of Life. And the reason why I've been thinking about this a lot is that I spoke to a colleague of mine a few weeks ago, and he was telling me a story of how he took his son to his orientation for college. And it happens to be the college that he went to. And he had a business call, and he actually went to the business school, and he managed to get into a classroom that he had many of his classes in when he was an undergraduate going to that college. And as he looked out the window from this room, as he was on this call, he was actually on the board of a nice sized company, and it was the same view that he looked at when he was 18. And all of a sudden, he was flooded with these memories of how stressed he was and how unhappy he was. He found school very hard. He was worried that he wasn't going to be successful. And yet, at the same time, he was remembering all the parties and all the friends. And there was a carefree nature to his life back then, but he couldn't appreciate it. And he was thinking to himself, I wish that I had enjoyed this more. I wish that I had a perspective that things would work out or that I would find my way. But I was just always studying and worrying, and everything did work out. And so it was hard, but I wish I enjoyed it more. And the truth is, in this moment, whatever is happening, if we don't have a good perspective, we are most likely going to say the same thing. We're going to look back and say, what was I thinking? I even do this. I look back on pictures of when my kids were young, and I remember sometimes feeling so stressed and overwhelmed, and we were all so young, and there was so much fun. And I say that now. I said, why didn't I enjoy it more? And I'm very aware that I'm probably going to say the same thing about my life today in 20 years if I don't hold that larger perspective. If I let all the daily challenges get to me in a way that I'm letting it steal the joy. And it's not even just the joy. It's when you hold life in a larger perspective, things don't weigh you down as much. That's really what it is. It's almost like you're lifting up your general mood. You're lifting up your general view. You're lifting up to more joy because you're not allowing yourself to sink when you don't like what's happening. And so that's what my colleague was talking about. That's what I just saw in the pictures. And I'm sure you understand this. I'm sure you could look back at a time in your life now where you have fond memories, but you know that you let things get to you. So with this knowledge, how do we stand today and not sink every time we have a stress and every time we have a worry? And the best thing we can do is set those daily perspectives every morning. Set a larger view of life. Again, sometimes people literally could have a perspective, this too shall pass. So you go lighter on the problem. You don't feel as bad. Some people look at all the things that are going right, and they're able to kind of look at the problem as a little smaller. Look at it that it doesn't control everything that's going on in their life. It's kind of listing all the things that are going your way, so the one thing that's not doesn't weigh you down as much. There's also the maybe practice, which I use a lot because the minute I see that I don't know what this problem means, the minute I see that there are many ways to be okay, that uncertainty is my best friend and things could always change, that always lifts my perspective because the problem doesn't feel as negative. The problem is open-ended. Things can be solved. Things can change. Maybe things will get better. Maybe everything could still be okay. So for me also, maybe is a larger perspective because I know that I'm not stuck. And again, there's also this idea of acceptance, which I've talked about on the last couple of podcasts, where you acknowledge that you're in pain, you acknowledge you're not happy, but you also accept that it's happening. And when you accept something is happening, you land it. And when you're not resisting it, you could have the experience, you could feel the emotion, and it has a place to go. Sometimes it's the resisting of what's happening is what's keeping it so alive within you. It is making you so much more miserable because you're having this feeling and then you're battling that it's happening. And when you accept it, it allows the bigger perspective in. Because sometimes we're so busy fighting the emotion, fighting what's happening. This shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't be having this problem at work. I shouldn't be having this problem with my child. That is what's taking center stage. But when you accept it, perspective will automatically come in. So again, sometimes the moment is difficult. It's challenging. We don't like it. And we have to allow ourselves to feel that. But at the same time, having a practice to hold that larger perspective, whether it's through acceptance, whether it's through maybe, whether it's through understanding that it will pass, or whether you're able to see everything in your life all at once. This problem's happening, but there are good things happening in my business too. Yes, I'm feeling sad or lonely about a relationship, but look at all the other beautiful friendships and relationships that I have in my life. And also, at this point in all our lives, to be able to look back from our own lessons and know that we've had experiences in our lives where things have gotten better. But in the moment, we didn't have that perspective, so we didn't enjoy the good things too. And that's really also an important exercise, an important perspective. I'm sure you have old pictures to look at and remember how you were feeling in that moment. Remember the burdens, but remember the good. Remember how things changed. It might sound so simple or cliche, but it's true. When I looked at that picture of me and my children, I remember that day. I remember I felt stressed because my daughter was crying a lot. I remember I didn't have a lot of time to get my work done. And I could actually remember that feeling. But as I look back, I also remembered I was with my children that day. And they were young. And there was laughter. And there was sharing. And there was a beauty there that I didn't see because I was so overwhelmed with all the little things. And I know that I don't want to spend the rest of my life sinking over little things every day and missing the love and the appreciation and the gratitude and the good things. Every day there are good things and we miss them because we lose the perspective. So I hope you could think about these ideas, this perspective that you can have every day, that larger perspective that you could hold your life. Hold your dreams, hold your goals, hold the joy, hold what you have, work on your relationship with uncertainty, understand how everything passes, engage in the maybe practice, and know that so much more is possible than you could imagine. We have to allow ourselves to feel what we feel, but when we hold it with a larger perspective, even when the moment sucks, we could still hold the beauty of our lives. We could work on how much that problem or that moment is affecting us. And we could bring in more laughter, and we could bring in more acceptance and more appreciation and see the beauty of everything. Even when we're feeling pain, even when we're feeling sadness. And maybe that will lighten it and you will feel the moment is not so bad. Maybe you'll feel a mix. Maybe you'll feel like it's a beautiful moment and it's a painful moment. Or maybe it'll soften the moment so much that joy will come in. Or maybe you'll just be able to say this moment's painful, but maybe everything is still okay. And maybe I will find my way. And most of all, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you could subscribe and leave a comment.